I have had Dan insurance ever since I became a recreational diver. I actually did my dive certification and then immediately was going to travel abroad, and so I had some professionals tell me, like, highly recommend getting Dan for your trip. I recently started a nonprofit organization, so now I also have Dan general liability insurance for our nonprofit. There were tons of insurance companies that were a little risk averse, especially since what we're doing is, diving, and they don't have the information necessary to cover the kind of work that we do. So being able to work with Dan was really helpful. It's helped us form the program into a more complete and correct way to make sure that our divers are safe and they're getting everything they can out of it. It was the perfect policy for what we do. I go diving with clients a lot at Casino Point Dive Park on Catalina Island. I'm also around the dive community there quite often, and so there was one night where I was actually chatting with some divers I'd met earlier in the day, and one of them wasn't feeling so great, so I recommended that he called the Dan hotline, and they worked with him, talked him through his symptoms, gave him ways to potentially mitigate if he was having some sort of onset of DCS, and he did those things, and a couple hours later he felt great, and it was awesome that I had that resource to be able to provide for him, just immediately fix his problem. Then afterwards he did go on to sign up for Dan, and he got a policy with them because he was very impressed with the service and he knew that it was important in case it did escalate that he had that coverage. I always recommend it to any divers that I dive with. If they don't have it, I send them the resources they need to sign up for it, and especially when they're traveling, I think it's just invaluable to be able to know that you're covered if anything were to happen. I'm Kayla Feairheller, and that's why every diver should be a member.